Thrust in your sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. So the angel thrust his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. The angel thrusts his sickle into the earth, and the grapes are thrown into the great winepress. What follows is a vivid and terrifying image of judgment. The winepress is trampled, and blood flows from it, reaching as high as a horse's bridle for 1,600 furlongs. This staggering speaks of the magnitude of divine justice as the bloodshed covers an unimaginable expanse. This chapter flows naturally into the next, leaving us on the edge of anticipation. We have seen the Lamb's triumph, the fall of Babylon, and the warning of eternal consequences. The question that lingers: what final acts will unfold as the stage is set for the ultimate battle between good and evil? Chapter 15 of Revelation begins with a new sign in heaven, a moment that builds anticipation for what is to come. The text describes 7 angels holding the 7 last plagues, where God's wrath is about to be completed. It's a moment both great and marvelous, but it also brings a sense of finality. The idea of completion, much like when a long, difficult journey nears its end, signals that everything is moving toward a conclusion. Yet, as with many things in life, this isn't a sudden event, but rather a process that unfolds in its own time. Then I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them the wrath of God is complete. Revelation 15:1. The passage brings to mind the cycles of judgments that have come before, the seals and the trumpets, but here the imagery seems to deepen. As the angels prepare, the wrath of God becomes something that's not just an emotional outburst, but rather a purposeful act of justice that reaches a point of completion. Much like when we reach the final stages of a long, challenging project, everything seems to come together, fulfilling a greater purpose. Then John sees a multitude standing on what appears to be a sea of glass mingled with fire. This scene, filled with victorious people, serves as a striking contrast to the judgment that is about to be poured out. These individuals who have overcome the beast and refused its mark now stand firm in the presence of God. Their journey through suffering, much like walking through fire, has refined them. Yet they stand unshaken, victorious in their faith. The sea of glass recalls an earlier vision of God's holiness, but now it is mingled with fire, perhaps suggesting that judgment and holiness are intertwined. The people who stand on this sea are not untouched by hardship. They have passed through trials and emerged triumphant, much like gold purified through fire. Their victory is not the absence of suffering, but perseverance through it. These individuals sing a song, referred to as the Song of Moses and the Song of the Lamb. This unity of Old and New Testament imagery, of law and grace, brings to mind the deep connection between God's deliverance throughout history. The song's lyrics focus entirely on God, praising his works, his ways, and his holiness. It's a song that centers on God's worthiness to be worshipped, reminding us that true worship comes from a place of reverence and awe for who God is, not merely for what he has done for us. As the song declares, "For you alone are holy," it reflects a profound truth about God's nature. In this scene, the focus shifts away from human suffering or victory and centers on God's holiness. Just as a beautiful piece of music can transport the listener beyond their immediate surroundings, this song seems to lift its singers and